Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really like that. And if you're returning, how you doing? In today's video, I want to talk about do you have a prepper group? Who's in your group? And what role do you play? And then in the comments section, I want you guys to tell me who, if you had to, if you ever came into contact with these kind of people, who would you avoid? Like in a bug out situation, in a shtf situation, if you and your group had to flee and you came across a certain kind of person, uh, you know what I mean? Like, who would you have to avoid or want to avoid? Okay. First and foremost, I think that a handyman would be a good person to have in your group. In our group, our handyman is my sister's boyfriend, Sonny. Um, the next person would be a survivalist, and that would be my son. Being as though he was in the Young Marines for like 10 years. And he did, like all of those, they literally bugged out into the middle of nowhere for like 2 weeks at a time, stuff like that. Andrew can literally just do, whatever he needs to do in order to survive out in the wilderness for long periods of time. He's very good like that. So he would be our survivalist in our group. Okay. A hunter and a gatherer. That would be my brother-in-law, Jeff. Jeff, he's a really awesome guy. Okay, story time. A couple of years ago, it was my niece and my nephew's 17th and 18th birthday, because their birthdays are February 19th and February 22nd. Okay. And my sister and brother-in-law were having a birthday party for them. And they had like buffet style food going on. And there was a crock pot. And it was like, looked like chili or something, right? So I'm like, oh, this looks really good. And Jeff's mom goes, no, wait a minute. And I go, what? And she's like, Jeff made that. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it, chili? And she's just like, it's stew. And I said, oh, well, kind of stew are we looking at? And she goes, it's called roadkill stew. What? So Jeff literally is a hunter and a gatherer. I mean, him and his family literally, like, they pick up roadkill and cook it and eat it. So he would be our hunter and our gatherer, Jeff. Yeah. Jeff, I love you if you're watching this. Okay, the soldier would be next on the list. And my nephew Gavin, he would be the soldier in the group. Okay. Medical would be my sister Dawn. She's a nurse. We also have another nurse in the family. Sean's Aunt Carrie, she's also a nurse, even though she lives up in Philly. But she's also a nurse. So, if we ever had to come together as one family to, all be in the same location, she's also a nurse. Okay. Now, a communication specialist, like, oh, I guess that would be, to deal with like a ham radio or whatever the case may be, I would have to say that would be Sean's Aunt Donna. She has her ham radio license already. She's very good with that. She's very fluent with, different things like that. So she would have the job as a communication specialist. The leader would be my mom. She's very, how do I put it? She's your typical Italian woman. I mean, she's literally, she knows how to get things done and she gets her way just by opening her mouth. Yeah. The farmer and the gardener would be me. Um, it's good to have a police officer or, some kind of authority. And that obviously would be Sean. Fireman would be my dad. My dad is a retired fire chief. So, in case, whatever structure you are in, whether it be your house, your bug out location, okay, in case there is a fire, you definitely want to have someone who's able to assess the situation and to be able to control the burn and put out the fire, okay? A cook would be my mom-in-law. Electrician would be Sean's Uncle Tom. He's very good like that. We've been working in construction for, I don't know how many years, 30 plus years. So, he's very good. He's also good with working with wood, stuff like that. So yeah, woodworker would also be, a very good person to have in your group. Blacksmith, I don't know who, if any. I mean, that trade is literally, from way back in the age, I mean, I don't know anybody who does anything like that. It's something that's worth learning, I will say that, but I don't know anybody who does anything like that. Mechanic, I know how to work on cars, but not to the extent of like being able to like do engine work or transmission work. Like I've taken out an alternator and replaced it. I've taken out starters and replaced them. I can do like timing belts and tune-ups and oil changes and, that type of thing. But I can't do, like big, things like that. But, having a mechanic in your group, yeah. A tracker. In my group, being able to track, maybe, you know what, Andrew, it's okay to have one person who has like multiple jobs in your group. You know what I mean? You don't want to, just have one person, just have one job, because then, you know what I mean? It's okay if they have more than one title, more than one job, okay? An arborist, I feel, for like foraging, okay, being able to, decide, okay, well, is this okay to eat? This is not okay to eat. Yes, it is okay. My sister Jovan, she is an arborist. She's literally certified arborist. So she would be obviously the arborist in the group. And then teacher, we have two teachers in our family, my soon-to-be daughter-in-law Madison and my sister Janine. Madison works at the University of Tennessee, and my sister is now a retired high school teacher. So, okay. Now, who to avoid? What kind of person would you avoid bringing either into your group, or would you want to avoid in an event? You know what I mean? Would that be like another type of prepper would you want to avoid? Or is there like, another just type of person altogether? Like, obviously you don't want a narcissist in your group. You don't want an abuser in your group. Like, who would you want to avoid altogether? Like a know-it-all, like, oh, I know everything. There's got to be, certain kinds of people that you just don't want in your group. You know what I mean? Now, if someone has like a criminal past or something like that, sometimes you just gotta listen. No one is perfect, okay? And you don't want to use that against them for the rest of their lives. It's bad enough that stuff happens in society today. If it was a certain a certain amount of years ago, it's best to just leave that stuff in the past, because we all deserve to live a good life and we all deserve to survive after an event happens, okay? But, you don't want like a narcissist in your group. You know what I mean? You don't want that know-it-all in your group. You don't want that I'm up here and you're down here type, because oh my God. No, You don't want that, like, that person in your group who's like, I'm more prepared than you are because my stockpile is higher than yours, and that type of thing. That's just not the type of person that, we're all in this together. The prepper community, we're like one big happy family. We help each other, we support each other. That's why we're all here, isn't it? You don't, like, even in the YouTube community, for the prepper channels and stuff like that, we help each other, we build each other, we have each other's backs. We're not going to badmouth each other. Why would we do that? That's not, why tear somebody else down? That's not okay. We're all trying to make it in this world. Don't tear each other down. You know what I mean? I mean, it's okay to just, keep someone at arm's length. You know what I mean? But anyway, who would you avoid? Obviously I would want to avoid a narcissist, okay? Or someone who does this thing called gaslighting. That. Yeah, that. My poor sister was in a relationship for 10 years. She had a 10-year lapse of judgment for 10 years with someone who did that to her. And oh boy, that was, oh my God, that was awful. But yeah, so, just, really think, this is really where you got to think, who is in your group? What role do you take? Who, if you were to make a list of what type of people you would want in your list, and listen to me, in your group, and try and put a name next to each role, like who would be your handyman, who would be your survivalist, who would be the hunter or the gatherer, who would be the soldier, who would take the medical role, who would be your communication specialist. Do you see what I mean? And see where what slots are empty and try to fill those in if you can. And like I said, it's okay if if one person has more than one role. But don't try and put it all on you, though, because that's when it starts to get overwhelming and stressful, and you don't want to stress yourself out. So anyway, all right, that's all for this video. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, and keep prepping, and if you need to get a hold of me, you know how to get a hold of me. All right, guys, bye.